Welcome to Epilogue Podcast, the show where we discuss some stuff that happened on a different show ages ago which nobody really cares about anymore.
Hello, I'm Portponky.
And I'm LeBloc.
Today we're discussing Deep Space Nine, Season 5, Episode 5, The Assignment. O'Brien acts as a saboteur to prevent an incorporeal being from killing his wife, Keiko.
All on his birthday.
Yep. Happy birthday, O'Brien.
I knew as soon as they said it was his birthday, something absolutely terrible would happen, of course.
Well, as soon as you saw it was an O'Brien episode, you thought, oh my god, this is going to be horrible for him.
How many times will he die this episode?
I would actually say this wasn't the worst thing he's been through. But for most of the other characters, if they had gone through this, it would have been the worst thing they had gone through.
It would be life-changing and make them reassess how they value life and their place in the world.
But not O'Brien. It's probably in the top 5 bad things that happened to him.
It's probably one of his better birthdays.
This episode featured Keiko O'Brien as the antagonist. Not just of the O'Brien household, but of the whole episode.
Yes, and the actress, whatever her name is.
Rosalind Chow.
Yes, she did a fantastic job. She's an awesome villain and played it sinister in all the right ways.
Oh, she's awesome in this. This is the sort of role she fits this kind of role a lot better than normal Keiko O'Brien.
She should be evil all the time.
Well, she kind of is a bit. Okay, I wouldn't say she's evil. I would say perhaps she lacks warmth in some respects. But here, as soon as it gets creepy and sinister, it just ramps up unbelievably.
I prefer full tilt evil Keiko.
It's actually kind of funny. None of the other crew guessed that something was wrong with her. Which is, okay, that sounds flippant, but because she was able to act like Keiko imperceptibly, so they wouldn't notice. But I kind of imagine that even if she was just strolling around being evil, they might not notice.
That would have been great if she were overtly evil in front of all of them and none of them took pause.
Well, I wonder if they would. She's been kind of a bit, I don't want to say crazy, but she's acted in a way which is slightly strong in the past, and they've been okay with it. There was a bit of a big plot hole in this episode.
What?
Yes.
Oh, maybe this isn't what you're going towards, but that Rom figures something out before O'Brien?
Rom's a genius, though. Okay, that's actually interesting. I'll skip the plot hole stuff for just now. I want to talk about that.
All right, let's talk about it.
It was cleverly written.
Yes, if you say that without context, oh, Rom figures out something before O'Brien does, it sounds really stupid. But it works really well in this episode because O'Brien is under horrible duress and he's more concentrated on keeping Keiko safe and making sure nothing happens to her. So he wouldn't catch everything, as amazing as he is. And then this develops further that Rom is an engineering genius and then leads to a promotion. So it's all really clever and works well within context.
It's not even just clever because of that. Keiko kept second-guessing everything O'Brien did, Miles. So whatever solution he came to had to be a surprise to him. So the fact that Rom pulled the science out of his brain let O'Brien reach the solution in a way which was believable. As much as a space station guy shooting a radiation beam into a timeless wormhole is believable. But not only that, it was also clever because Rom states that the chronoton radiation won't harm them, but will kill the wormhole aliens, which is precisely the solution they use without any explanation later on, because it doesn't need one. It's already been given.
I was so happy it wasn't beaten over our heads.
They gave you the pieces of the puzzle and they let you put them together yourself.
It's so satisfying to have that moment where she's being electrocuted, I guess, or whatever, and then O'Brien's fine, and then you say, Ron brought this up. I know what's happening.
It's because it doesn't talk down to the audience. It lets them rise to the story. They can understand it, one would hope, and they come to the solution as the characters do. It's a lot more satisfying. So that one little scene with Rom set up so much in this episode that it's a rather understated little scene. I mean, it's clever, it's nicely written. The dialogue is nice, and it's got some real face zooms on Rom and O'Brien. So zoomed in that their faces are pressed against the cameras. But it's a rather unassuming scene, which turns out to tie the whole thing together.
Right, it's totally pivotal in what follows.
But it doesn't seem pivotal at the time, particularly. It's a little bit
revealing.
Not
at all. It almost seems a little mundane at the time that they say all that.
Well, that's why it's so clever, because the solution just springs out at the end.
Good job, team.
Yeah, they nailed that one. So anyway, the massive plot hole. O'Brien is walking around the Jeffries tubes trying to figure out a way to incapacitate Keiko.
Yes.
Later off, she jumps off a railing and knocks herself out.
Yes.
So he should have said, oh, she's incapacitated. Well,
yes.
chuck her in a stasis field, I'll tell everyone what's going on.
I thought that's what would happen. And I thought, oh, what is the thing called? Paw Wraith?
Paw Wraith, yes.
I thought the Paw Wraith made a misstep and then would be easily overcome now that it knocked out Keiko.
In theory, I guess it could have kept her conscious throughout or something.
I thought maybe you were going for a joke when you said massive plot hole because Dax figured something out, sciencey.
Oh, I have a little criticism about that.
Let's hear it.
Dax, the science officer, has to enter the plot and deliver some scientific information. So what reason does she give for doing this?
She's bored.
I was bored and did a thing.
I was bored, so I did my job.
Reason. Yeah, they could have used anything. Like, I was working on a research paper and I noticed this, or something to do with my job and I noticed this. But no, I honestly just walked in and started slapping a keyboard and it said something strange. What do you think of this, O'Brien? And O'Brien's not even a science officer. He's a field engineer.
He's a man of many talents.
Yeah, and Dax is a character of none. I mean, the computer could have delivered her plot point in this.
That is strange how they set that up. It makes Dax seem even more useless.
I guess their intention was to lever her in to make her seem useful as well, so it probably backfires.
It did. It has the opposite result.
Well, because it's a token gesture. Hey, they did something that they often don't do, which is where O'Brien starts running to get places fast.
Well, when you threaten to kill someone close to him, specifically Keiko, then he'll run.
Well, okay, you say that, but remember in season 2, the episode Civil Defense? They were going to shut down the reactor from destroying the station. They didn't break out into a run there, and O'Brien was with Cisco and Jake.
Neither of whom are Keiko.
If the station was blown up, Keiko probably would have died.
Oh, she wasn't off the station yet?
Oh, you may have got me.
That's the only way to get O'Brien to run.
Things have got so bad for O'Brien that now the evil plotlines start targeting his family.
There were a lot of really good cringy moments where he's forced to kiss her to keep up appearances, and
that's awful.
She points out how he has to sleep next to her.
Oh, there's a lot of skin crawling scenes like that, yeah. Which is awesome because it's making the episode terrible for O'Brien, using just like the most rudimentary parts of the show, his family.
It's simple but highly effective.
It's super effective. Oh, especially when Bashir is watching and he's like, "Hey, go on, give her a good night kiss."
As you do. I was surprised he actually fell asleep, though. I expected him to be wide-eyed the entire night.
Well, we've often suggested that he doesn't sleep very much, so he's probably already running on like 150 hours of being awake.
We don't have much say in the matter. Our bodies will shut down. That's likely what happened there. And anyway, because he fell asleep, we have that excellent little part where he forgets Keiko is possessed, and then you see his face fall as the realization sets in.
I've said it before, and I will say it again, he is the best face actor.
I'm always glad when they have extreme close-ups with O'Brien and I can study his face.
It's like a living work of art. They bookended this episode.
They did?
Yeah, with Rom ordering breakfast.
Oh, right.
A little bit of fun. They don't usually bookend, so... Yep. Quark only had to press one button to add bacon to a meal.
Well, of course, you need a bacon button.
On a replicator in the future, especially since they've probably got bacon that has no cholesterol or salt or whatever and tastes just as good, then yeah, I imagine it would be a one button press.
It's the first button on there, probably.
It was at the top.
Yeah, it's on speed dial.
I'll have a Ractigino with bacon.
So something happens to Odo in this episode that we haven't seen since the first season.
Is it blunt force trauma to the head knocking him unconscious?
Yes, it is. And it made no sense in the first season, but here it makes sense because he's a solid.
Yeah, he didn't expect that, did he?
Nor would I expect him to. He would still have those old habits. Oh, I'm invincible. Someone punches me. Who cares?
Especially O'Brien. I bet he punches hard.
Oh, yeah, that's a brick wall hitting you.
Knuckle sandwich. It would be great if Odo had a massive shiner at the end of the episode. Black eye. That would make more sense, though, because they can cure that really quick.
Oh, right. It would still be funny, though.
That would be fantastic.
I imagine they must explore Odo and his feelings about being a solid in future episodes, but that's something I really want them to explore, because he is a solid and things would be different. So he can get knocked out now. He gets tired now. He has to eat. He has to lie down and sleep. But those would be strange rituals to have to conform your day around. Not that he's regularly getting knocked out.
Eating would be weird if you'd never done it. I'm sure they will tread the Odo is a squishy ground. But it's nice to just little bits and bobs in there to remind you that he isn't a super guy anymore.
Rom brings up Lita, a character I forgot about.
How could you forget about Lita?
Because she's a non-character.
What? How can you say that? She was interested in something or other.
Lita was interested in sociology.
Yes.
And she has massive cleavage.
There's that as well.
I think she's still dating Bashir?
We don't have clear indication either way.
She was dating Bashir, but apparently she likes to chat to Rom.
Given the way Bashir intently watched O'Brien kiss Keiko, maybe he's not involved with anyone right now.
Maybe Leah has a really, frankly, bizarre choice in men.
What do you mean?
Well, if you had to compile a list of top hotties of DS9, where would Bashir and Rom rank? In the top 10 or not in the top 10? Actually, Bashir is a hottie until he opens his mouth. He just needs to get some stubble and grow his hair long and start wearing loose clothes.
So become a pirate?
Yeah, basically.
One thing that kept the tension going for me was I could see them killing off Keiko and this turning out horribly for O'Brien. If anyone's spouse is going to die, it's going to be O'Brien. And then imagining him being a single dad and how awful that would be. And then he just had that weirdness with Kira.
Oh my god, that would be awful.
Yeah. Hey,
his
remember?
kid would still arrive.
Oh, yeah.
Because that is so awful, now I can just see it happening to O'Brien.
Exactly.
Although,
because it's
I know
just...
what the outcome is, but ooh, that would be terrible. That's awful.
If it's going to happen to anyone, it would happen to O'Brien.
See, I never thought that Keiko might die in this episode, well, because I already knew she didn't. But at the end, I half expected her to have a secret smile or something. There was a scene where she was hugging him. I expected her just to open her eyes and look at the camera or something.
I was waiting for that too, but I knew they wouldn't do that because it would have to be a multi-part episode, and I didn't see them going that way. But it was kind of funny, half expecting it.
It wouldn't make any sense. Unless they explained it as none of the stuff about power wraiths was true. It was just her mucking about.
Or it wasn't concentrated enough or potent enough to rid her.
Sciencey babble. I have a super fact. This is not the first time the fire caves of Bayshore have been mentioned on the show.
When else have they been mentioned?
They were mentioned in season 1, episode 11, the Nagus, when Quark became the Nagus for a while. And in the script for that episode, it mentioned Paraiths, but that line was not put in the episode, I think. So it's a crazy callback to season 1, but nobody cares. It's good that they tied it back to something they'd already mentioned, but to be honest, who remembers that?
I'm not sure who that would serve, if anyone.
Yeah. They don't need to tie things back to season 1. They can sever that cord and let season 1 drift away.
Yes.
Do you have some words of wisdom from the show?
Another weakness of you corporeal life forms, your need for physical intimacy. It's especially irritating in your young. That line is really disturbing because it reminds you that this being is around Molly all the time and O'Brien can't do anything and he can't tell Molly and he tries to protect her by having her go somewhere else, but she ends up coming back. And then you have that unnerving video call where Keiko is brushing Molly's hair, and it just reminds you how horrible that situation is.
She has a point, though. Babies are kind of annoying. They are up all the time. They're worth it. Like, I'm not going to criticize babies overtly, but they're kind of annoying in a way. I'm sorry to any babies who are listening to this.
We just lost all of our baby listeners.
No! They shouldn't be watching Deep Space Nine.
Why not?
It's too violent.
Well, they have to learn about violence sometime.
Babies don't have to learn about violence. Creepy Keiko did the job.
Thumbs up, Creepy Keiko.
10 out of 10 out of 9. We should move onwards to the next episode.
Yes, we should. Let's do it.
Okay, right now. We'll do it right now.
All right.